As promised, here's my review of The Snowman and the Snowdog, which had its premiere on Channel 4 on December 24th, 2012. It was directed by Hilary Otis, who also wrote the film, and co-writing this was Joanna Harrison, with music by Ilan Eshkeri and Andy Burroughs, along with the new original song, Light the Night. Now, when I was in England 3 years ago spending Christmas there, and I heard that there was a sequel coming out on Channel 4, I was rather interested and kind of unsure of how to make of it because I really loved the original Snowman. No doubt about that. It's pretty much one of the best holiday specials one could ever hope for and one could ever watch. And when I was basically hearing that there was a sequel, I wasn't so sure about it at first. I had my doubts, but just by watching it, I have to say that it maintains that level of charm and enchantment that the original one had. And at times it almost feels like it's quite similar, but it doesn't really feel so estranged, which is definitely a huge plus for the film. Now, in terms of its story, this starts off with a young boy and his mom, and they enter the house that James used to live in. Billy, who is the young boy, finds that there are some old artifacts in the house, including an old hat, an old scarf, a dried up orange, and some charcoal. So he wasn't so sure what were these before until he found out that the original tenant of the house, James, in fact, built that snowman out of these items. So Billy decides to build not only a snowman, but also a snow dog. And thus, as usual to be expected, 12 midnight strikes, the snowman and the snow dog come alive, and they all fly to new adventures. But this time, they also have like a sort of ski party with the other snowmen and snow women. Now, just almost like the original, where there is a dance sequence with James, the snowman, and all of his snowman, snowwoman friends, this one also involves a ski competition between the snowman, Billy, and all of the other snowmen and snowwomen. And I have to say that even though the story does feel like the same formula plus the ending, there is also one twist near the ending that was kind of interesting, though I'm sure that with some people they might think it just came out of left field, but I thought it was kind of interesting. But still, even though the story pretty much had that similar structure, I guess you could say that it's backed up with charm and likability. And then we go to the animation. Now, as you could expect, it's something adapted from Raymond Briggs. The people behind the animation managed to really keep up that style and keep up that really muted color palette to really make all of the colors come alive and almost continue making it feel like a painting. So I'm still very impressed with the animation. And then we get to the music, which just like the original, it makes great use of classical music, but in this version, it also makes use of some contemporary themes and also a little bit of the guitar and almost some country themes as well. And just a sort of ballady feel. And I definitely like Light the Night, sung by Andy Burroughs. It's definitely a really great song. And even though I really, really love Walking in the Air, I have to say that Light the Night is also a very great song as well. The characters are also kind of interesting, but sometimes they kind of do feel like carbon copies of the former characters. Like, Billy is sort of another James, even though he's a lot more spunky and a lot more enthusiastic. The snowman is still the same lovable snowman we all know and love, and there are also a lot of his other snow friends who still maintain that level of likability and charm. So the characters are still good on their own, even though at times they do feel like rehashes, but still, it's still very good. So overall, even though the film does kind of rehash the original, at least it manages to be a lot more fun, and it's definitely a good sequel. Not to par with the original, but still with a lot of heart, charm, and warmth that really makes the snowman very great. So I give The Snowman and the Snowdog, well, a 4 out of 5. You know, despite the flaws, I could totally forgive them because it's still a very good sequel. It's definitely worthwhile watching, and, well, it's just totally great also, even as a standalone film. Well, that's all for now. Be sure to tune in later where I review Humperdinck's Hänsel und Gretel, which is live streamed from the Wiener Staatsoper. So until then, see you later, everybody.